Hey guys, this is Panda here, and I'm gonna cut to the reading of the patch notes really fast because this is probably gonna be a long video, and we just kind of want to start reading it because it's probably gonna be a lot. I'm not gonna go over every little thing in the patch notes, just the big stuff. So let's just hurry up and start. So Heist League, is there anything different here? And they always say that in every patch note ever. Travel. This is basically the trailer. Complete heist. Yep. Specials, okay. 40 challenges, you get the rewards, the totem, okay, cool. Next, major new content and features. Added a new intelligence skill gem, Blazing Salvo. Fire projectiles that impact around a targeted location. The impact areas can overlap, hitting a target multiple times. The further away you target, the wider the area across these projectiles can land. A void sphere. Okay, so about these gems, I am gonna just like quickly go over these because just reading about them isn't gonna tell you much about it until you actually like use the skill and like try it in your build and see how it works. So also it helps to have the gem numbers, which we don't have in the patch notes. I think they released that tomorrow, but we did see like the videos of these gems. I saw the Void Sphere one for sure. Crackling Lance. Frost Shield we saw. Splitting Steel. Sigil of Power, which create an area which causes your skills to consume more mana but deal added lightning damage when you stand in it. I remember this one. The Flame Wall I remember. Hex Blast. Deals chaos damage to a targeted enemy. Oh boy, it's already going to be a good skill already. If the enemy is hexed, it will remove the hex, dealing more damage based on the amount of doom on the removed hex and dealing damage in an area around the enemy. I'm really gonna have to still look. I didn't look at that chaos or the curse rework thing post yet. I should really look at that. Impending doom causes supported hex skills to trigger doom blast when they are removed or expired. Deals chaos damage in an area on the amount of doom. The amount of doom the hex had and was removed or expired. Cannot support triggered or aura hexes. Okay. So you have to self-cast. This is what I'm understanding. Pinpoint. Supported projectile skills deal more damage and fire fewer projectiles per intensity. Repeatedly using the supported skills adds intensity. Cannot support triggered, vol, instant, or challenge skills which reserve mana or use skills used by traps, totems, or mine. That's a nice projectile support gem. Something new. New stuff, basically. 90 new replicas, 800 alternate quality variants for supports and skill gems. That's crazy. A new vendor recipe, which is probably going to be... Oh, for a special support gem. Never mind. I thought it was going to be like sell 3 contracts, get a different one or something. But this is for a support gem. Interesting. Could be for Empower or what's the other one? Enhance or the one that reduces mana. I can't remember the name. Minor new content and features. Following skills have received the visual updates. Lightning Strike, Firestorm, Ice Storm from the Spring Ice, Caustic Arrow, Smoke Mine, Discharge, and all curses. Permanent minions. Oh, Golem, Zombies, and Animated Guardians stay with you even when you log out. Div cards that award an item with the Elder Slayer's influence now have special background effects. Okay. A few torches will now light your way to Lionized Watch. Wow. Improve the Atlas influence visuals. Nice. This is going to be nice to look at. Improved performance when viewing and using crafting benches. Okay. Made a multitude of visual adjustments to the brightness and bloom effect of skills and effects throughout the game. Thank you. Improved effects culling across many skills and effects for performance. Good. Continue to... Okay. This has always been there every single patch. Character balance. Projectiles have been reworked to allow for more player-friendly behavior. We read about this in the balance manifesto. So basically, if certain projectile behaviors are still available, they'll do them now, right? Yeah, basically, like the chaining, returning. There's a sequence to it now. Many modifiers to effects and durations of chill and shock, such as increased effect of shock, now also affect brittle and sap. Awesome. Intensity now has a maximum of 3 stacks from 4. That's a oof. Remove the concept. Reduced visibility. Oh, this is the stealth thing. Okay. Here's the curse rework. I guess I could just get a short version of it here. So all curse skills have been reworked and are now divided into 2 categories, hexes and marks. Hexes apply a curse in an area and when manually cast, apply an amount of doom per second to curse enemies up to a maximum maximum of what? Maximum, is there like a number of doom stacks? Doom increases the effect of the afflicted curse and stacks additively with modifiers to increase curse effect. Marks apply to a single targeted enemy, and only one enemy can be marked by you at a given time. The current mark skills are Poachers Mark, Warlords Mark, Assassin's Mark, and Sniper's Mark, previously named Projectile Weakness. Ooh. Monster rarity no longer affects the efficacy of marks. Monsters deep in the Azurite Mine Delve are also no longer reduced the efficacy of marks on them. Additions to the number of curses can you can inflict on enemies apply cumulatively to both hexes and marks, but do not modify the number of enemies you can have marked at any given time. Thus, you can have an enemy that is affected by both a mark. You can have an enemy that is affected by both a mark and a hex, but you can't mark an enemy with 2 marks, nor can you mark 2 different enemies. So marks are for single target boost, hexes for group clearing. Got it. That's going to make for some interesting utility setups now, since you're no longer just relying on like a single curse. So now you have 2 different ways to go about it with hexes and marks. I hope there's some good occultist changes. Items and enemies which previously reflected curses will now only reflect hexes. Excuse me, I cannot talk. So they can't reflect marks, which is that's actually really nice. All right. Steel skills. Lancing Steel, Shattering Steel, and Splitting Steel can now consume steel shards to cause bonus effects. Steel shards are gained through the Call of Steel skill, which causes all nearby impaled enemies to release their impale spikes and deal damage around them. If there are no impaled enemies nearby, Call of Steel will create steel shards over time. Every steel skill... God, saying steel skill like really fast multiple times is a very big tongue twister. Grants Call of Steel as well. You can have up to 12 steel shards at a time. So it increases the clearing. This is to increase the clearing of Lancing Steel of the steel skills. Okay. Oh boy. Strap yourselves in. This is gonna be a long one, chat. Or this is gonna be a long video. Assassin's Mark. Enemies afflicted with Assassin's Mark will always grant a power charge and a significant amount of life and mana when slain. I mean, I guess you could also just use marks on rares and stuff, but I don't see it being used other than for extra single target boss damage or stuff like that. Anyways, no longer curse enemies to take increased extra damage from crit strikes. That's a big yikes. Curse enemies now have 100% chance to grant a power charge when slain. Hits against curse enemies now have a plus 1.5% chance to crit strike chance at all gem levels. Ooh. And 30% multiplier, up to 49% at level 20. Cursed enemies now grant 65 life when killed. 600 at 20. Whoa. And 80 mana at 20. Holy crap. Now causes cursed enemies to take or to have a 1% chance to grant a power charge when hit per 4% quality. So yeah. I mean, you wouldn't use it for the power charge on Slain, but You get extra crit strike chance and multiplier. It's different. I don't know if it's gonna be better or worse, but wow, that's a big change. Poachers Mark. Afflicted Poachers Mark will always grant a frenzy charge when slain and are more susceptible to physical damage. They always grant a small amount of life and mana when hit. No longer causes cursed enemies to grant increased Flask Charges. No longer causes cursed enemies have less evasion. Cursed enemies now have a 100% chance to grant a frenzy charge when slain. 15 life when hit up to 50. 8 mana on life on hit and up to 25. Adds physical damage to hits against cursed enemies at gem level 1 up to 30 to 45 at gem level 20. Cursed enemies also have a minus 20% to physical damage reduction at all gem levels. Wow. That's really nice. Now causes cursed enemies to have a 1% chance to grant friendly charge per 4% gem quality. Okay. That's a really good way to make Poachers Mark interesting. Now you definitely have some options here. At least if you're going a projectile build, right? Or I guess it doesn't even have to be a projectile, just as long as you're doing some sort of hitting. Assassin's Mark seems better though. If you're hitting but you're not crit. Poachers Mark. Sniper's Mark. This is if you're projectiles. Okay. Grant charges to life and mana flask. This would synergize well with the Pathfinder, right? No longer causes projectiles to pierce or knock back cursed enemies. Cursed enemies now take 16% increased damage from projectile hits up to 35%. Cursed enemies now grant a life flash charge and a mana flash charge when you hit them. Wow. No more than once every 0.5 seconds at all gem levels. Note that this only applies to hits from the source of the mark and not, for example, your minions. Okay, that's fair. Projectiles which hit cursed enemies now split towards 3 additional targets. Oh my god, this is going to be a must-have for anyone using projectiles. This is really good sustain, and this is really nice. Like, the increased damage here is just like a bonus. What you care about is the light. Like for bosses, you can now have consistent life and mana flask charges without being a Pathfinder. That's actually really nice. And it also can help with clearing because of the split. So if you target a troublesome rare, I guess you can clear up the ads or whatever. I guess you can also do it on bosses because some bosses have ads, but that's actually really nice. Warlords Mark. Always grant endurance charge when slain and grant rage when stunned. Ooh, they also allow attacks to leech life and mana from them. No longer cursed enemies have reduced stun block recovery. No longer cursed enemies have a chance to be stunned. Hits against cursed enemies have a 40% chance to double stun duration, up to 59% chance at level 20. You get 5 rage over 1 second when they are stunned. Dude. And you get the 2% life and mana leech when hit by your attacks. That is so good. Sniper's Mark if you're projectile, like Assassin's Mark if you're crit. Oh yeah. But yeah, if you're going projectile, Sniper's Mark is like almost way too good there, I think. In my opinion. I guess Poachers Mark if you're melee, I think, because of the minus 20% physical damage reduction. I think that would be the play. So Poachers Mark from melee, but then you have Warlords Mark, which gives you good leech and rage. So you have options. Poachers Mark and Warlords Mark I find to be both good. You also get frenzy charges from Warlord or Poachers. I guess Warlord if you want to be more defensive, Poachers if you want to be more like offensive, because Frenzy Charges, like the Endurance Charges is good. Yeah, that's actually really nice. Damn, you have a lot of good options. Lancing Steel now fires a sequence of projectiles when you attack, and fires more projectiles based on the number of steel shards consumed by the attack. Enemies can be hit by multiple projectiles from the same attack, but subsequent hits after the first deal less damage. That's fair. Now has a base attack speed multiplier of 80%, and now deals 63% of base damage at gem level 1 up to 85 at gem 20. Fires 3 additional proj. Has a 20% chance to impale enemies on hit. Wow. Subsequent hits from the same attack now deals 60% less damage. That's a big oof, but alright. Now consumes up to 4 steel shards and fires 50% more projectiles per steel shard consumed. 50% more projectiles per steel shard consumed. That's a lot of projectiles, even if they are doing 60% less. Who cares as long as your damage is high enough to clear? Because obviously for bossing it might not be too good there, but you can use that steel blast. Oh, this and in combining it with this the blade, not the blade blast, but that thing I just read earlier for the shards exploding. That's a good clear. That's really good clear. Shattering Steel fires a number of projectiles simultaneously which shatter after colliding with an enemy or after traveling a short distance. The shattered projectiles deal damage in a cone in front of their impact location. Shattering Steel will consume up to 2 steel shards to deal more damage at close range. Each time you consume steel shards, you can gain a steel charge up to a maximum of 6, which grants a 4% chance to block attack projectiles per steel charge. Jesus. Tongue twister patch notes. Okay. This sounds like more of the single target. So you would use Lancing Steel and then Shattering Steel for single target. Yeah, it definitely has way more damage. It even gives you more physical attack. 40% chance to impale, 2 additional proj. So you would either use like a two-handed with 2 6-link setups to use both, or you could just, I guess, gem swap, which is kind of a pain in the ass if you only have 1 6-link. You just swap between Shattering Steel and Lancing Steel, or even like maybe not even 2 6-links. I think Lancing Steel would be fine with just like a 4 or 5-link pseudo 5-link setup. And then you just use Shattering Steel in a 6-link for single target damage. Again, I have to see the skills. I'm pretty sure they already showed videos. I haven't looked at those, just because I had so little interest in the steel rework, the steel skill rework. But after reading these changes now, definitely, after the hardcore event is over and I'm back in softcore, or maybe even in a future league, I will definitely try these out. These do seem interesting, along with the new Mark skills. So Firestorm. This is one of the first skills I've ever used. Now calls down a large meteor that impacts a targeted location, followed by a series of smaller impacts at set intervals over the storm's duration. The base power of the spell has been significantly raised, so you're now limited to 3 firestorms at any given time. Any new storms created will replace the oldest. That sounds really cool. and I'm a little sad that I'm playing hardcore solo self-found for the event, because obviously I'm going to pick a build that I know is going to be safe and that I'm familiar with. Trying to pick a new skill is a big gamble, and this sounds really interesting to me. I like the change here. And damn, it is now a level 28 gem, so I can see the damage spike there. Please be aware that existing low-level characters with Firestorm socketed may have their gear slot disabled until the Firestorm gem is removed. Has a mana cost of 13 at level 1 up to 25. Now has an added damage effectiveness of 50%. Did it not have a damage effectiveness at all? If so, that's crazy. Deals 22 to 33 fire damage and additional 207 to 311 fire damage at gem level 20. Now has a base duration of 1.4 seconds with one impact every 0.2 seconds. The first impact now has 100% more area effect and deals 150% more damage. Firestorm starting to sound a little cool, dude. Definitely something to check out. Like, do you have to, since it's just 3 charges, I wonder if you just cast the storm and then you can just move around. I don't know if there's videos for the Firestorm. I definitely want to check that out. Glacial Cascade can now rapidly create a sequence of damaging areas, each of which knockbacks enemies on if it hits. Modifiers to the skill's area of effect no longer affect the overall range of the skill. Instead, larger areas overlap with each other more. This can allow you to hit an enemy several times with a single cast much more reliably. The final part of the cascade now deals significantly more damage to enemies. This is a good change. I wonder if this means Glacial Cascade mines are back, or even Glacial Totems, GC Totems. Now has a mana cost of 10 at level 1 up to 20. Cast time of 0.6. Physical damage. Converts 100% of physical damage to cold damage. That's already a nice buff right there because you don't have to get any conversion. Final spike now deals 200% more damage. Holy shit. This is going back to old GC mines levels of single target, possibly. Assuming you can get them with that final spike. And it has knockback. That's a nice defensive mechanic right there. Dude. Glacial Cascade looking good. A lot of these spells are looking really good. Discharge now has a cooldown and a much higher added damage effectiveness and base area of effect to encourage large individual discharge casts that consume many charges over the rapid fire discharge usage often triggered by other sources. There is a threshold jewel which removes the cooldown for players who seek a discharge playstyle similar to the older version of the spell. Okay, well, you have the option now. Larger base area of effect. Added damage effectiveness of 450%. Oh my god. What the heck, dude? That's a lot. Deals lightning damage per power charge. Okay, so a shit ton of lightning, fire, and cold, depending on your charges of choice. Obviously, it's gonna be like power and frenzy charges first, and then endurance charges later. Actually, endurance charges will also be easy to get because of Enduring Cry. Now it has 20% increased area of effect per charge consumed. Oh my god. Deals 30% less damage with ailments. Wow. Very interesting changes to Discharge. Punishment no longer requires that you be hit by the cursed enemy to benefit from its effect, and instead grants large benefits for high damage killing blows against cursed enemies. So no longer curses enemies to grant more melee physical damage on melee hit. Okay. No longer curse enemies to grant increased attack speed on melee hit. No longer causes enemies to have minus 20% physical damage reduction. Now causes cursed enemies to take 50% increased damage while on low life. Wow. Free Calling Strike, as you say. Up to 88% increased damage at gem level 20. Now causes cursed enemies you hit to be debilitated for 2 seconds? What's that? Now causes 10% of overkill damage from killing blows against cursed enemies to be reflected to other enemies as physical damage. Now gains 1% increased effect of curse per 2% gem quality. Okay. I don't know what debilitated means. I'm gonna have to look that up. Vitality, we kind of read about it. It's now a flat life regen that they added. How much exactly, I'm interested in seeing. It's also lower mana reservation cost, and you can get it earlier. Reserves 233 mana at gem level 20. That's actually not bad. 15 life per second at 1. 247 at 20. Requires 25% less strength. That's, you know, it's good. That's a good change. Now Vitality will actually maybe see some usage. Let's see. Skill balance. Lightning Trap. Glacial Hammer. Evolve Glacial Hammer. Blah, 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 blah. Now also affect the alternate versions of their corresponding elemental ailments. Okay. Only gems which are curses will now have the cursed gem tag, i.e. all hexes and marks. Skills which interact with hexes and or marks will now have the hex and or mark tag but will not have the curse tag. Bane, for example, has the hex tag but not the curse tag, as it is not a curse. As a result, modifiers to curse skill gems will not affect skill gems like Bane. That sounds a little confusing, but I get it. I think. So, the new tags for curse stuff is to make it hopefully clear. It just sounds confusing. Ball Lightning now has a base radius of 18 down from 22. More damage, or less damage. Excuse me. They said they were going to nerf it. Less damage. Clarity now requires 25 less intelligence at all gem levels. That's a nice change. Free mana regen for including to duelists and marauders now. Hopefully. Conductivity. Curses applied by casting this spell. Curses applied by casting this spell now gain 10 doom per second. Now causes hexed enemies to have 25% chance to be shocked at all gem levels. Huh. Interesting. Despair. Causes curses applied by casting this spell now grant. Oh, okay. Is every curse getting 10 doom per second? Yep, 10 doom per second. Enduring Cry. You need to be near somebody. No longer grants a minimum of 1 endurance charge. Wait. Why didn't you type this out more? You just have to be near an enemy and then you get your endurance charges, right? Cooldown of 8 seconds from 6. Enfeeble. No longer causes cursed enemies to have reduced critical strike chance or crit strike multiplier. Uh-oh. Curses applied by this spell. Now, okay, the Doom thing now gains additional radius as the gem levels. Okay. Now gain... Wait, did they nerf Enfeeble? What? They just straight up nerfed it again. Increased effect of the curse per 2% gem quality. So now this thing can't save you from crit strikes. Yikes. There's the Doom thing. Chance to be ignited. Doom thing. Chance to be frozen. Phase Run no longer grants reduced visibility. Now grants 100% increased stealth at all gem levels. This is going to probably be a popular gem. I was talking about this on my reaction to the Heist League. Phase Run. This is going to probably be a popular gem when you're doing heists. Precision no longer has a strength requirement. Now requires 22 dex up to 119 dex. That's a commitment, but all right. Temporal chains. The Doom thing. Radius thing. Okay. No nerfs there, but they Enfeeble didn't deserve that hit. No longer causes attack hits to have a chance to maim cursed enemies. No longer causes cursed enemies to take increased physical damage from damage over time. Wait, no longer causes cursed enemies to take increased physical damage from damage over time. So isn't this a nerf to a bleed build? Assuming you're using vulnerability? Pretty sure you do. But I think you just use malevolence, maybe? Now causes ailments inflicted on cursed Oh. Oh, okay. That's a change, but 20% faster? I don't know if that's better or worse. But that does affect bleed builds and poison. Val Purity, Impurity of Fire, Ice, and Lightning. No longer grant reduced damage taken over their respective. Oh, this is the +5. Okay. The +5 to their maximum resistance thing. Okay. Support Gem Balance. Awaken Curse on hit. Now renamed Awaken Hex Touch. Hex Touch? I don't know if I like that name. Supports Hex Curse skill gems. Now grants the supported Hex a chance for it to affect Hex-proof enemies. Move over, Occultist. You're no longer needed. Damn, dude. Alright. Curse on hit support. Now named to Hex Touch support. Now only supports Hex Curse skill gems, so not the marks. So I'm guessing you have to self-cast marks. Intensify support. Supported skills now gain intensity. Supported skills now deal 14% more area damage at level 1, up to 22. At 20, up from 16%. Nice buff. Supported skills have 15% less area of effect per intensity at all gem levels. Okay. You can now have 3 maximum intensity by default from 4. This is no longer tied to the support gem, as skills such as Crackling Lance can utilize intensity. What? Alright, I think. Deathmark support, now named Predator support. Renamed to Predator support to signify that this is not a mark skill. Now grants the Signal Prey skill, previously called Deathmark. So it's the same thing, just different name. Okay. Spellslinger. Cooldown, an increase of 10 second, 0.10 0.10 seconds. Now grants supported skills increase cooldown recovery as the gem levels up to 38% at level 20. That's pretty good, I guess. 30% mana reservation override at gem level 1 down to 25 at 20. That's a big oof. I don't know if you can now do the whole... Well, you can, I think, but you won't be able to fit in like a small aura. Maybe. I don't know. That's a big oof either way. The 30% mana reservation. Okay, so next. Man, we still got a lot to go. And we're at 33 minutes. I'm sorry, this video couldn't be shorter. New Keystone Doomsday causes hexes you cast apply to an area, applying the hex to all enemies in it for over its duration. The hex area gains its maximum doom after a short secondary duration. Wait, causes hexes you cast to apply to an area, applying the hex to all enemies in it. Causes hexes you cast to apply to an area, applying the hex to all enemies in it for over its duration. The hex area gains its maximum doom after a short secondary duration. Do hexes not apply in an area already like curses used to do? You have to like get this now? That's like weird. I would have to... I really need to look at the curse thing. Glancing Blows got nerfed, so you now take 65% of damage instead of 50. It has been moved so as to make it more difficult to acquire via... Okay, so they just... Alright, GGG. You just put Glancing Blows in the never gonna touch this keystone ever again list right next to Arrow Dancing. So good job there. I'm pretty sure no one's gonna take it anymore. The Divine Flesh Keystone. We saw that nerf down from 10 or down to 5 from 10. Okay. The Skittering Runes cluster has been moved just below Heart of Thunder. I don't know where that is. Plus 10 to maximum doom and 10% increased effect of your curses. 15% from 15% increased effect of your curses. The Whispers of Doom cluster has been moved next to Chaos Inoculation. This is a good change. The first, well, kinda. I mean, it doesn't. It puts the curse thing not depending on your build, but I think for the most part this is actually better because the extra curse used to be next to the minion, the Spectre minion wheel, like in the top left-ish, top middle left of the witch area. So, I mean, like, if you're going Trickster, congratulations, the Whispers of Doom is now closer to you, so you can think about getting it for another curse. You can get a defensive curse. Small passive on the left now grants 50% increased Doom gain rate instead of cast speed. First passive in the cluster grants 10% increased cast speed for curses from 15% increased curse duration. The Hexmaster cluster has been moved from the left. Has been moved to the left side of the tree next to the Disciple of the Forbidden. I don't know where this is. I'm gonna have to look at Path of Building. It now has 3 small passives. Okay, the Corruption cluster has moved to where Whispers of Doom used to be. It now has 6 passives, with the original passives making up the entry and left path. The notable now grants 0.2. Oh, this is the, I see. 0.2 of chaos damage leeches energy shield. The right path grants 4% chaos resistance penetration on each passive. Ooh, that's really tempting, but you're probably gonna want to use a Blight oil here for corruption, maybe. I feel like that might be the play. The new Dark Intent cluster has been added where the Skittering runes used to be. It grants increases to the effect of your curses, reduced mana restoration of curse aura skills, increased damage with hits and ailments against cursed enemies, and additional starting doom for all your hexes you apply. Cultist better get some action, dude. And I'm not seeing a cultist in the ascendancy balance, which is making me sad. The new Mark of the Weak cluster has been added to the southeast of the Ranger, which grants increased cast speed for curses and causes hits against marked enemies to have increased critical strike chance. It also causes marked enemies to have reduced accuracy, take increased damage. Wow. And grant additional Flask Charges when slain. Jesus. That's a value notable right there. The new Marked for Death cluster has been added to the southeast of the Duelist. It grants increased effect of your curses, culling strike against marked enemies, and increased damage with hits and ailments. Okay. Really went all out with this curse stuff. Jesus. Okay. So these are the nerfs we were talking about, or they were talking about the other day with the balance manifesto. So Deadly Infusion notable now grants 1.5% crit strike chance while at maximum power charges from 2% and 5% on crit strike multiplier from 8. That's a oof. Small passives grant even less crit strike multiplier. That's oof again. Oof for the assassin. I think it'll still be good. I think maybe. I mean, it's still gonna be your go-to if you're going crit. For the most part, I don't see why not. It's just not gonna be as OP as it was before. Mission of Sacrifice now causes your offerings to have 50% reduced effect on you from 25. So this is going to be again a nerf to Necromancer, the Ascendancy, and it's going to be harder to get cap block, but you probably, like, without glancing blows, you're probably just gonna, you're still gonna take this because of the increased block chance, or the, well, yeah, the increased block chance is more defense. You're just gonna have to probably spec into some extra block nodes. I think Octavian had a good point when he said it's better to get 50 to 60% block chance without glancing blows to have the full block, you know, to have block the full damage. That was a weird sentence. than to have glancing blows and still get like 65% of damage is still gonna hurt a lot. So better to have a more effective block. The Necromancer path on your curse now causes your offerings to have 50% reduced effect. Same thing on the Ascendant. Okay. Whew. Item balance. This is all the tag stuff we were reading about yesterday, so I'm not going to go read that. Fossil descriptions have different descriptions, just slightly. Bound fossils increase the likelihood of curse modifiers. Faceted fossils now increase the likelihood of rolling all gem-related modifiers. Can't talk. Been talking for 30 minutes. Items which apply a curse to an enemy, such as the curse on hit ring modifiers, no longer specify a level and instead have a set magnitude for their values with a fixed amount of doom, which is overridden when another source applies a more potent version, similar to Arcane Surge. Oh, that's actually a oof. That's a nerf to those rings. They're not going to be as high level. Since if they don't specify a level, that, yeah, it's a yikes. Life regeneration modifiers are now less likely to roll on items. That's a nice change. The values of life regen and granted by these modifiers has been increased across all but the first tier, with the top tiers now granting twice as much life regen per second than before. Okay. Crusader influence items can no longer roll a physical damage conversion modifier if the item already has one. Labyrinth enchantments, which granted reduced mana reservation for vitality, now grant 20% and 30% reduced mana reservation. Existing items with this enchantment are unaffected. So different lab enchantments for the reworked skills. I'm just gonna try to hurry up here and finish up. I'm sure nobody made it this far. Cluster Jewel Balance. Eye of the Storm has now increases the effect of non-damaging elements you inflict with crit strikes. Previously specified chill and shock, but now also works with alternate elemental ailments. Whew. Precise Commander now causes you and nearby allies to have 25% chance increased crit strike chance from 30 and 10% multiplier from 12. Okay. Vengeful Commander now grants 20% increased effect of anger, hatred, and wrath from 30. Vicious Bite now grants your mains 15% chance to crit strike multiplier from 20 and 30% increased crit strike chance from 50. That's an oof. So nerfs all around to the cluster jewels. Unique items. I'm not gonna go over too many of them because it's probably has to do with the life regen from the looks of it and the curse stuff. I don't play this game enough to know every single unique item, so even if they did change something significantly, I wouldn't even know. So oh wow, this is a map change. No longer applies projectile weakness to players, now applies the despair instead. So increased chaos damage, I think. Isn't that what despair does? That's a oof. But if you're CI, this doesn't matter to you. Sorry, I got distracted. But anything else it's gonna be I'm just gonna skip past it. This is the nerf to Watcher's Eye. I do know that one though. Can now grant 10 to 15% increased energy shield recovery rate while affected by discipline from 20 to 16 or 20 to 30. Now can now grant 6 to 10% of maximum mana as extra energy shield while affected by clarity. This is also the life recovery thing they talked about. It's going to give you less life recovery, which is understandable, I guess. Can now grant 8 to 12% increased recovery rate of life and energy shield while affected by malevolence from 15 to 20. That's a nerf. There's there's really nothing worth noting there other than just like less valuable Watcher's Eyes for certain skills. But Whispering Ice, the Ice Storm skill has undergone a significant rebalance with larger impacts falling in a smaller area, meaning you are significantly more likely to hit targets within the area multiple times over the storm's duration than before. More cold damage per 10 intelligence, base duration of 1 second down from 1.5, gains additional base duration per 100 intelligence. Oh, it's always been like that. Down from 0.15. There is now 1 impact every 0.2 seconds. Has an added damage effectiveness of 60%. There's the buff. Now has a maximum of 5 storms at a time. Okay. Impacts now have a base radius of 16. Okay, so I guess Whispering Ice is going to be interesting, maybe. Monster changes. The Redemption Sentries and Redemption Knights now have approximately 33% less life and damage than before. That's a big oof. I don't know if they're going to be worth using anymore. Bosses throughout Path of Exile and monsters deep in the Azurite Mine no longer reduce the effect of marks on them. Good. So definitely a nice incentive to use marks on bosses for sure. So there's like no way you don't use a mark, man. I feel like it's a lot of value. Yeah. Hexproof monsters can now be cursed but will ignore the effect of any hexes applied to them. Previously curses could not be applied. Hexproof is in no way mitigates the effect of a mark. So they work on hexes but not marks. Makes sense. Hexproof. Monsters which previously used curses have had their behaviors updated in line with the new curse behavior. Okay. Monster packs in the caverns, the ancient pyramids now spawn with the appropriate necromancer. No more ash prophets with lightning skeletons. Cool, I guess. Monsters now use their own version of the new, as of 3.11, Enduring Cry. Okay. Dreadwheel monsters, as found on the climb, no longer have quick and fast attacks as implicit modifiers, and have had the effects of those modifiers moved to their base properties. As a result, external modifiers to their movement and attack speed, such as those on maps, will have a greater effect. So they buffed the wheel monsters. Okay. Cannibals no longer have an extended wind-up before they throw their stones. Okay, so they buffed the Dreadwheel monsters and cannibals. Okay. Things to watch out for hardcore. Atlas and map changes. Once again, the map tiers have been reshuffled. Okay. Improved signaling for advancing the Atlas questline map, in which Zona opens a portal after the map boss is slain. Okay. Penitentiary Incarcerator, boss of the dungeon map, will no longer spawn infinite skeletons if he's allowed to live indefinitely. Okay, weird change, but I guess there was some sort of exploit with that. Ancient Architect, boss of the pier map, will no longer summon Spike Ground on top of other Spike Ground. Is that why I took so much damage from it before? I would be getting hit by multiple Spiked Ground. Small changes. Zana League mods. Fortune favors the bold at 3 chaos. Abyss, Domination, Bloodlines, Nemesis, Beyond, Blight, and Delirium. Oh, that's a good one. For 16 chaos though? Oof. 16 chaos for a Delirium. Man, oh man. Blight balance changes. Oh my god, I've been hating Blight since forever. Let's see. Blight towers have been rebalanced to try to provide a better diversity of strategies for handling blighted maps. Arc towers now cast 74% faster. Shock Nova towers cast 50% faster. Chilling towers now have 50% more chill effect and have a cooldown from 4 seconds. Seismic towers have 50% more skill effect duration and have a cooldown of 4 seconds. Minion towers now wait 3 seconds before resummoning their dead minions from 8. Freeze Bolt towers now cast twice as fast and have half their previous cooldown They now fire an additional proj. Stone Gaze towers now reduce the action speed by 20% from 15 and have a slightly reduced cooldown. Scouts from the Scout towers now have 38% more attack speed and 50% more damage. I was really hoping for more monster balance changes. Not... Well, I guess the tower things are nice too, but... The biggest problem I have with Blights, and when you do Blight content and Blight maps, is the shitty layouts you get with the portals. Because sometimes you'll have some really bad portals that are literally right next to the pump, and you can have like a gang of enemies that are ignoring the path and they'll just run straight to the pump and just kill it so fast you can't react to it. Things like that, and no breaks in between the Blight maps. They still haven't added that. Some of the bosses do a ridiculous amount of damage. Like, oh my god, this... I was hoping for better changes. I mean, this is nice, but you could do more. Blight maps still piss me off. Incursion Changes. The Hall of Metal, Hall of Heroes, and Hall of Legends are now only available in Incursion temples whose temporal exploration began in level 68 and above areas. Okay. Delve. The Buried Monolith encounter Legion is now restricted. Okay, so they're blocking Legion for later levels, which is fair because I think a lot of people in Soul Self-Found were farming low-level Legions to get the Divine Flesh. Which I still don't think that's going to be used as much because it's going to be harder to get Chaos Res. User interface improvements. Auto reply command now persists across area transitions. When you use an in-area transition, such as the entrance to a boss room, a very short cooldown is now applied to a transition at the destination to prevent accidentally bouncing back with some overzealous clicking. Ugh, that was a lot of reading. Okay. Quest rewards. So this is... I'm just going to skip all this because basically the skills are getting shifted around and can be purchased. We get it. A lot of the curses and stuff getting switched around. Crackling Lance is offered to the Witch. Impending Doom is offered to the Witch. Okay, like, cool. PvP changes. To ensure heist and the new skills received the necessary QA time, we'll be providing PvP challenge balance changes in a follow-up patch shortly after the launch. I don't PvP, but nice, I guess. Bug fixes. We're gonna skip all that because I don't really know off the top of my head any bugs. I'm sure it's interesting to read some of the bugs that were happening, but like most of the time I'm like, oh, that was the thing. So I'm just gonna skip that. It's great that they fix bugs. There's probably gonna be more bugs at the launch anyways. Whew. That's it. That was a long read for the patch notes. And if you guys managed to stick around for the full 55 minutes or whatever, how long this shit is, thank you. That was a lot of reading, a lot of changes. To put it into a short summary of how I feel about it, I was hoping for more. I guess the Blight Changes disappointed me. Let's just go through the list. Heist, the mechanic itself, I've already talked about. The major changes, new content, like the new skills that do like area clear, like the Void Sphere, Blazing Salvo, like they all seem very interesting. The reworks to old spells seem really interesting. The rework to lances seem interesting. The curse stuff, specifically like the Hex and the Doom mechanics, is a little confusing to me just because I didn't read up on that post. So I'm gonna have to like do extra research on that. But the marks look good. The hexes look good. It definitely looks like every character should be rolling with a mark for extra single target damage. Extra single target damage and extra survivability, because they either grant you like health on hit or like leech or flash charges. So it seems really good to have a mark on a boss fight. The balance seems okay. I don't remember any specific skill being hit too hard. I would have liked to see the occultist get some ascendancy changes because of all the new curse stuff. Because right now you only play occultists to really do the vortex damage over time stuff, but her niche is supposed to be with curses and stuff, and seeing how this is a curse rework, I would have expected some curse changes to her kit. Item balance, cluster jewel balance, some nerfs all around, but nothing too major. The rest was kind of meh. But I guess the highlight for me is definitely the skill reworks for sure. A lot of skills seem interesting to me. I like the new Firestorm. I like the new Glacial Cascade. I already said this. All the new skills and the rework skills look interesting and definitely are making me interested in making a build around them. So maybe after the hardcore event, I'll consider that. But I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap this video up before it gets any longer than it needs to be. But good changes overall. I'm not disappointed. I just wanted more, I guess. More balancing. Especially with the Blight stuff, man. I still hate Blight with a passion. Other than that, good patch notes, I guess. Can't wait to see Reddit's reaction to it. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of nice and friendly comments, I'm sure. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching again if you made it this far. I'll be playing Heist once it comes out on Friday, so if you guys want to stop by, I'll have a link to my Twitch in the description and some additional thoughts that might have popped into my head while I edit this video. So see you guys in the next video, and if you guys are playing in Heist, have a nice league run. May you have lots of currency drops and a lot of fun. See you guys in the next video.